Ammari, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, bro. Pleasure.
What's a part of your story that people don't know that you would like them to know?
Bro, I'll be honest with you. I've done so many interviews and podcasts, and I feel like everyone knows the story of Ammari Diedrick now, you know what I mean? Starting out at 11 years old, getting punched in the face by an older kid. That's where the journey kind of stemmed from, you know what I mean? So I think everyone kind of understands the gist of me to a certain degree, you know what I mean? Obviously, everyone's going to have things that they keep to themselves, but on a whole, I think everyone kind of understands the journey I'm on, where I'm coming from, what I'm trying to do, what I aspire to do, and the dreams and goals, bro.
Cool. So maybe flesh that out a little bit more for people that don't know. It's like what is you mentioned there about getting punched in the face at 11 years old. All right. Is that the sort of thing that drew you towards fighting? Is having that sort of like background upbringing? Tell me a bit more about that.
I was the switch, bro. You know what I mean? Going into year seven, I'm the oldest out of my siblings, and I mean there's four of us, so I'm the oldest. And as the older brother with the older sibling, regardless, you have got to fly the flag for the family at the end of the day. So for me, going into year seven, obviously you all do, man. Going into secondary school, you want to make sure everyone knows your name and whatnot. So you have a easy time through school or whatnot. And obviously, walking home, got punched in the face by an older kid, cried like a little girl, bro. You know what I mean? In all honesty, cried me, ran home. Oh, this kid hit me. Da, 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 da. But obviously, the next day you got handled anyway. So yeah, that's where it came from. And then obviously becoming a fighter, I then wanted to make my name more prominent in somewhat of the street life in the sense all the people to know who I was. You know, I just wanted to make sure that okay, if I've got a name on the streets, then my siblings are then going to be safe, and they were. You know what I mean? My sister, who's a year younger than me, she went through school fine. My brother, who's 10 years younger than me, he went through school and college and whatnot fine. You know what I mean? And then my little sister, obviously, she's a younger, but she protected me. So for me, it was about making sure that I had a name for myself, and then my family was safe on top of that because I never had no one to look up to. I never had no one who was protecting me at the end of the day. Yes, you got your parent and whatnot, but having an older brother is a big thing. So for me, I never had that. I was the older brother that had to do the protecting and the looking out for my siblings and whatnot. So that's where it was. It stemmed from that, and then obviously it's just gone on to what it is today.
I want to talk a bit more about that then. Is the being an older brother and protecting your siblings. I've got an older sister, but I've got a younger sister myself, and I was actually talking last night about how protective I feel about her. Like the idea of her having anyone like try and harm her or anything like that, I get really, really quite emotional about it, and I'm like very, very strong feelings about it. Talk to me a little bit more about carrying that sort of mantle and looking after your siblings. Why, how do I word this correctly? Why do you feel like you need to take on that responsibility?
If I had the answers to that, I couldn't tell you, bro. It's just a feeling. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think any older brother or brother can really say what it is that it is, but I feel like we've always got that feeling, like you said, you're not even the older one, you're just a brother, you're like the middle one. And then
Mm.
you still have that feeling of making sure that your siblings are protected, you know what I mean? Your family's protected. At the end of the day, I feel like the males of the family always carry the name. We're the reason the name is gonna either get tarnished or it's gonna elevate, you know what I mean? So for me, I just need to make sure that my family's good, man. You know what I mean? That's just the be all and end all. My family used to be safe, protected, and yeah, my sister. I don't know. It's just a crazy feeling to have, and it's never gonna go. You know, it's always gonna be there. You're always gonna want to protect your family by any means necessary at the end of the day. And for me, that's what I feel as if I did going through my childhood years, my teenage years. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Mm. You said a phrase there which I use a lot and people um, sort of hound me for using quite a lot, which is as a man.
yeah, bro. As a man, it's just there's just I don't know things are frowned upon nowadays and so on and so forth. But I don't know, man. It's just life's different as a man. As cliche as it may be, it is. It's just your mindset is different. as a man. And obviously, especially in this day and age where, with all due respect, there's a lot of soft people nowadays, bro. Everyone's just soft and just squeamish about life, you know what I mean? So there are things you do different as a man as compared to a woman, you know what I mean? The mindset's different to a woman. Life's very different as a man, you know what I mean? You have more pressures in life, you know, than a woman. It's harder to make it as a man than it is to a woman. If you got a pretty face, you can flat your eyelids and jobs are good. And as a man, you can't do that. You have to really work hard. You know, like I said, if you want your family name to somewhat live on and carry on, you have best believe you best put the work in. You know what I mean? So there are different things as a man, and you've just got to be willing to understand that and understand what that comes with, and just be willing to just sacrifice or put the work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where people hear this phrase and because they associate it with like I don't know, like bad connotations of being like, oh, as a man, this, and this. It's like, well, am I not allowed to talk about my experience of being the gender that I am? You know, like, how is that offensive? Like, I'm not, whenever I use it, I'm not saying, oh, as a man, this is terrible and women have no struggles. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm saying at all. It's me saying from my personal experience. And it's funny because I mean this is not martial arts related at all. But, people from other subsections and other genders and whatever are allowed to talk about their experience, but as men, with being Men's National Mental Health Month, you know what I
We're
mean?
blacklisted, bro. We are blacklisted as men. We can't talk about what our issues are.
It's
Whereas, like you
crazy.
said, everyone else can talk about their issues or this and that with what they've got going on. But I think to myself, hold on, well, we're not allowed to have that. So
Mm.
it still kind of goes back into the martial arts world, bro. So for us, this is our way of finding peace and just in some aspects using the suffering mentally that you have got and just putting in something that is home. You know what I mean? We find peace and chaos at the end of the day. Men find we find peace in suffering and chaos, and that's just how it is. You know what I have, and I know for a fact you probably have as well as you know what I mean. As for 99% of us who probably do combat sport, we find peace in suffering and chaos. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. What does mentally being locked in look like to you? I was listening to a couple of your interviews and I heard you kept saying this phrase quite often, mentally locked in. What does that mean?
When you're mentally locked in, you have to understand that this journey that we're on as athletes or combat athlete is it's a long one, but it's a short one. And you have to be mentally locked in, not just physically, but mentally. You have to understand that in order to achieve what you're going to achieve or you want to achieve, man, you best be willing to suffer, deal with the highs and the lows, the ups and downs, the treacherous journey that you are about to embark on, and just be willing to just stay the course at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. We aren't in the luxury of being footballers who get signed at 12 or 13 years old and are on money the moment you turn 16. We are not making it until we get that big deal, whether that's at 20, 25, 30, or 32 or whatever it may be. You just have to keep staying the course. Yes, obviously, when you do make it, then that's a different obstacle entirely. But up until that point there, you have to understand what it takes to get there. You have to understand what you gotta do in order to get there. Yes, physically be in the gym and whatever and so on and so forth, but it's the mental battle that you gotta really, really lock into more than anything else. You could be physically strong as anything. You could have the power of God in your fist and just to be able to knock you fly. But if you're mentally weak, you will not go nowhere. That I can assure you. So mentally locked in just means being able to withstand the suffering, be willing to deal with the chaos, be willing to deal with the highs and lows of the sport, the ups and downs, and the treacherous journey, bro. At the end of the day, it's just that simple. It was a treacherous road, bro. And I'm not gonna be the only one to say it. You know, all of us are gonna say. You know, everyone's got crazy journeys. Obviously, we've got guys that are on UFC this weekend that I just got signed. They've had mad journeys as well. So we've all got our own mad journey, and it's just a testament to this. Okay, you know what, you can do it, and just perform and just really achieve what you want to achieve if you mentally lock in.
Do you think that like obviously martial arts or any combat sports is a very individual sport as soon as you get into the ring or the cage, right? It becomes very individual at that point. But prior to that, there's a whole like you've got a team, right? You've got teammates, you've got coaches, you've got family, you've got people who help you out with nutrition, etc. Do you feel like being mentally locked in, as part of being mentally locked in, is having that team around you that are also helping you keep mentally locked in and you keeping them mentally locked in too?
Bro, everything around you can factor in. I don't care who you are, bro. You know what I mean? And having a good team and whatnot around you is, mate, it's essential. I don't care what anyone says. This is not a lone wolf sport. Yes, you might get in a cage, such as you and him or whatnot. But even then, you still got your corner, because they're still telling you to do things. They're still seeing things that you're not gonna see because the adrenaline's kicked in. You know what I mean? So you need to have a good team around you that are just as locked in as you are. You know what I mean? There's gonna be days that you're gonna be locked in, but then obviously your coach or your teammates, your sparring partners are then gonna make sure you're locked in. Even your sparring partners, for instance, you could have a bad day and they might just give you a piece of a combination. You're like, all right, cool, I'm awake now. They don't say nothing to you, but them hitting you with a combination that you might not get hit with is, all right, now let me wake up. So now you've got to be locked in. So then, with your teammate being sharper than you, what they are then making you switch on even more. So a team is everything. You know what I mean? It's just it is vital. I don't care who you are. It is very much vital. I mean, look at like, the guys like Habib and all them. Like, they've just got a solid team around them. You know what I mean? Look at next gen lot now. Look at the Renegade lot now. Everyone's just locked in with good teams at the end of the day. If you've got a very strong team and a very strong bond, then the sky is not even the limit, bro. Everyone says sky's the limit now. Once you've got good people around you, sky is not the limit at all.
Yeah, that's one of the things that as I've started to make more connections, I've managed to get myself into different gyms and seeing different people in different places. And for example, like when I go to BST, like the team feeling there is great. I went up to Next Gen and filmed some content with a guy called Chris, who's hopefully fighting this weekend. Is had his fight pulled today, so hopefully they can get that sorted. But um, yeah, like seeing the team up there and like the real I felt like an outsider, but it was in a good way. It was like, oh, you don't just get to become part of this team, like you have to earn your way in, you know? And it was like I can imagine being on the inside. It feels like us against the world, and in a sport like that, it's a pretty good team spirit to build.
It is, bro. 'Cause at the end of the day, in combat, we're not just gonna welcome you with open arms. Yes, obviously the gym in itself that people come to, yes, the gym's welcoming, but as far as the brotherhood that we have, we're not just gonna welcome you with open arms. You have to really show your worth, bro. You
Mm.
know what I mean? You're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, I've come here, let me have one session, and you're gonna be welcome. Nah, bro, this is a different kettle of fish. The pro team and then just the general gym in itself are very, very different. You know what I mean? We need to trust you in a sense to and make sure you're vital. At the end of the day, everyone on the team has a use. If you ain't useful, get the fuck out. We're not interested.
Mm.
It's cutthroat. You know what I mean? Because once you are in that brotherhood, man, you are what you one of us. So for me, obviously, Renegade and obviously we got Leon, Fabian, CLD, those kind of guys, and obviously that's my squad at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I have had to earn my way and just prove my and just prove my worth at the end of the day. So now once you do that, you locked in for life. That's the family, and we just here to try and elevate and just do the best that we can. You know.
Yeah, I want to touch on Renegade in a little bit, but we'll go there now. We'll go there now. Sure. So obviously, looking at the weekend, with Leon unfortunately losing, I had made a video on this yesterday. I've seen so much people just instantly turning on him, you know, and instantly being like, "Oh, he's washed, he's done, he's this, he's that," and then forgetting and just being so blatantly disrespectful to what was one and still is one of the most technical and best fighters the UK has ever produced. And you don't go and beat Usman twice and beat Covington the way that he beat Covington and all of the guys on his come up without being one of the best people to have ever done it. And people turn so quickly. So can you talk a little bit about almost like how fickle some of the fan base can be? And yeah, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, fuck some of the fans, bro. In all honesty, I couldn't give a fuck. At the end of the day, Leon was a UFC champ where 99.9% of the guys on the roster will never touch that belt. Not even because they're not good enough. They just won't be able to get put in that position. So the fact that he managed to get the belt, defend it twice, oh, who cares about him, bro? They're fickle. At the end of the day, the fans need someone to hate. And obviously they hate Leon for whatever reason it may be. They're just fucking weirdos. I don't know why they're doing it, but fuck them. You know what I mean? They're just guys sat at home, not achieving anything. They ain't got no dreams, aspirations. They're just at home on a screen watching someone. Like, you know what? Fuck him. He's the guy that we're gonna hate. Why? That's fine. Pick who you want to pick and just hate it. He's living life. He's achieved his goals and dreams. He's a multi-millionaire, bro. He's laughing. So I don't really think he cares about your opinion. But at the end of the day, if you would say he's washed, it's not his wash, bro. At the end of the day, Leon was one of the top guys in a different era. Yes, he's still young, very, 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 very young. But at the same time, his era was he had to fight all the wrestlers. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So for me, he's then had to come out of the era of wrestlers, and then now the welterweight division is going to be heavily striker dominated again. So that now you've got to change your whole style again from okay, from dealing with constant wrestlers and high level grapplers to now okay, there been strikers are here now. You know what I mean? So now it's just a change, but it's nothing. At the end of the day, yes, what happened, but we keep it moving, bro. Because this isn't a sport where it's not like boxing. Luckily, where you have like 3 losses and you're done, you wash. Now our games, it's not that. At the end of the day, in MMA, we fight killers 24/7. So it happens, bro. It's bound to happen, man. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
it does, what do you do? Do you cry about it and just hide away in a dark corner? No, we crack on, bro. At the end of the day, yes, you have your 10 minutes and whatnot, but we keep it moving. You know what I mean? We elevate from maybe like, okay, cool, what went wrong? Okay, this went wrong. What do we do from there? Do we work on this? Let's work on this and we keep it moving. Now we push. At the end of the day, it's still top 10 in the division. You can't
Mm.
say someone's washed one that's still top 10 in the division. If you left the division, then you're like, okay, cool. Are you going to be a gatekeeper? No, you're not a gatekeeper. You're still top 10. I think he's like 8 or 9 or something. So I seen the rankings today. So he's there. You know, so with that, as a team now, we've just got to be like, okay, what went wrong? What we got to do now? Okay, this as of now, it is a strike in every division. Yes, Islam the champ, but before that, there's just strikers everywhere, bro. So you still got Protege, you got Ian Gary, you got this Michael Morales. Fuck knows how he even makes weight, but whatever. You got these heavy hitters now, so it's gone back to a striking heavy division again. So we just got to just change the script a bit. That's what it is.
Mm. Do you feel like there's like a element of you're talking about eras there, like something that popped into my mind was Volk, right? Like how old is he? 38, something like that.
Yeah,
Volkanovski. Like loses 2 fights, one at well, loses 3 fights. Two at middleweight, not middleweight, lightweight, back down at featherweight.
yeah,
But then Ilya moves up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you could become champ again.
yeah.
You know? Do you almost feel like there's an element of maybe luck in the fight game in that sense?
I mean, it's all about timing. I'll be honest with you. It is purely about timing, and in this game, you got to plan the story. You got to plan the story, plan the journey. But like, okay, cool. If I want the belt, what is going to be the least resistance route I can take to get that belt? With all
Mm.
due respect, yes, Islam is pound for pound best, but as good and as monstrous as JDM is, that was best case scenario for him. Having someone who we knew deep down he was going to out grapple, bro. Yeah, everyone's going to be like, yeah, it was his hardest fight, this, and this. But if he went to 170 in the Osman era, would it have been as easy? No, it would not have. So there's always a plan at the end of the day. That's hence again why you've got a team around you. This is why you've got your team around you. This is why you got managers around you. This is why once your name is at a certain level, even the promotions, they're gonna have a plan for you at the end of the day. So they're gonna make sure they can find the least resistful route in order for you to get the belt, become a superstar, and just bring in a crazy amount of eyes and money to to the organization. You know what I mean? Now he's got the belt. It's gonna be you're gonna have some tasty matchups, but obviously to get the belt, it was very easy at the end of the day. It was very just okay. This is literally striker versus grappler. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I almost feel a bit bad for JDM in that sense of you see it quite often, to be fair, where someone wins a belt maybe a little bit unexpectedly, whatever. Maybe they're not seen as someone who could be a champion, then they win a belt, and then they're instantly fed an absolute killer
Oh,
by the
horrible, bro. That
UFC.
was it was horrible, disrespectful. It was disrespectful. It
Yeah,
was horrible, bro. Yes, you won the belt, but big man. Fighting Islam. Islam's in his prime. JDM's not even near his prime here, bro. Yes, you won the belt, you were champ. But bro, there's still levels to the game, man. And we have to respect that at the end of the day. Islam is literally at his peak. So his next year or 2 years is when you're not beating my man, bro. You know what I mean? Well, you can, but it's gonna be a fucking ask. You
yeah.
know,
I
so it's
don't
gonna be an ask.
I don't know how you'd even go about it. Like, I don't know where you could beat him. You know?
You've got to be, I feel like you just got to be someone who is lanky. You got to be like your Ian Garys and your Pratters and all them kind of. You just got to be lanky and just be on your feet, bro. I'll be honest, mate. But then again, Volkanovski did it right against him. So I don't know. I think it's just down to the mental thing. It's down to how you feel in the night, bro. You know what I mean? And just somewhat not be scared of it, which is going to be hard as shit because it's like thinking, once this guy gets hold of me, how am I going to get up, bro?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just one of the things there. Fighting someone like Islam is just a mental barrier. You're thinking, you're going to train your ass off, you're going to put everything into camp, but then you're thinking mentally, mate, am I ready for what this guy's about to bring? You know what I mean? That's done. I think that's what it is. I think it really is the mental barrier with fighting someone like him. At the end of the day, it's the same when guys fight someone like John Jones. Hey, you know what? It's like you 9 out of 10, you're probably gonna leave that fight with bad knees and your eyes finished, and you're gonna try and murder you. So now mentally, you've got to then be prepared to go through absolute hell to one, leave the fight in one piece, or two, try and get the win. And obviously, no one's ever beat him. Well, obviously, people have on paper, whatnot, but there's a lot to it, bro. So it's a mental thing to beat Islam.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Like, even going back onto Leon when he won against Usman the first time, like a lot of people would have just been broken after. I mean, the first round was Leon's, but after that, like the next three, 4 rounds,
Yeah,
where it was just getting taken down, getting
yeah.
mauled, and then he gets up and he still knocks him out. Like for me, like I'm not a competitor, right? I've had a couple of low level kickboxing matches, nothing crazy, but I know that I'm not a competitor. I've kind of accepted that because I see Leon and people like that doing the things that he does. And I was having a conversation with someone at the gym about this the other night. Like, how do people take those shots and then just carry on and sometimes even turn it back around? And it is really, from what I've come to learn from talking to people like yourself, it is just a mental thing.
It is, bro. We're mentally tapped at the end of the day. And it's because people say all the time, like, why do you do that? Like, why do you choose to do what you do? Who knows? We ain't got the answer, bro. We can't even tell you what we enjoy violence, we enjoy fighting, but it just gives us a purpose. You know what I mean? And it's just our way of again solidifying our names and our family's name in history books, bro. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done. You know what I mean? Yes, we want the 6, 7 figures and whatever else comes with it, but mate, as far as your family name, that's how we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a you were speaking earlier about like people shitting on people like Leon and for chasing their dreams. Yeah, they're too scared to chase their own or whatever. I actually heard a quote from you, which I've written down here, which was where is it? Dream chasing is very hard. It's not for the weak, hence why not a lot of people do it. You have to really, really want it. And yeah, so Why do you think people don't chase their dreams?
It's hard, bro. It is, it is literally the hardest thing ever. And it is the most mentally taxing thing, bro. Could you go to bed thinking about your dream? You wake up thinking about your dream. You go through your whole day, no matter what you're doing, thinking, how am I going to make it? Yes, I'm going to make it. Okay, what for done? No, I'm going to make it. Then I got, bro, it is literally, it's not for the weak, bro.
Mm.
Hence why there is literally a tiny, tiny percentage of us who are actually doing it. You know what I mean? Or on the journey of doing it. It's not for everyone, bro. That's why some people's content, yeah, they just got their life and whatnot. But then when they're on the deathbed thinking, oh, why did I not do this in life and do that? Well, you fucking should have, mate. Grow a pair of balls and just fucking go and dream this. But again, the life that we live and the way the world is, not everyone can do that. We need people to just be normal and mundane, bro. You know what I mean? We need the fans, mate. You can't have an arena full of 20,000 dream chasers because it's never going to happen. So you just have to try and be that 1 in 1,000 or whatever the number is. I'm useless at maths. To be that person to just want to dream chase, bro, and just be hungry for it. Like I said, it goes back to suffering and whatever. You have to really enjoy suffering, bro. It's just not nice, bro. It's like I said, aside from the physical side of things or whatever it is, the mental taxation on your head, bro. Just trying to dream chase is horrible. Whether it be in sports or business, mate, I could dread to think what it's like being a flipping entrepreneur, bro. Because that's even worse, bro. You know what I mean? I can't even imagine what they go through. You know what I mean? So to even have the thought in your head of just wanting to just achieve your goals and aspirations, this was horrible, bro. It ain't nice. It is not nice. But once it's done, ah, the sigh of relief is amazing.
Do you not think, to look at it from like a slightly different point of view, then that maybe the fact that not many people do chase their dreams makes it easier for you to chase yours?
Nah, because even though there's not many people that do it, the small number of us that are doing it, we're all hungry, we're all starving. So then you can say, yeah, okay, the gap's not as big, but the gap is still massive. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There is still millions of us or hundreds of thousands of us that are just trying to just do the same thing. You know what I mean? So yes, it's easy in one aspect. All right, let's look at this like my city. I'm the only one from my city that's doing what I'm doing. Cool, that's fine. Then in the Midlands, still no one. So like East Midlands, you class as like Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. There's no one doing what I'm doing. There's no one who's got a name like myself in this current moment that's doing what I'm doing or on the verge of achieving greatness. Then you go to West Midlands, like Birmingham and whatnot, you've got Leon, Fabian, those kind of guys. So then if you're up and coming, you then got a dream chase. You then got to go from the regional scene, then get to the big scene where you're competing with the names of the Leons, the Fabians, the CLDs and such and such. So then, okay, now I've got to do something to get out of their shadow. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be some form of barrier where you've got to just make sure you just overstep that. Then you get onto the world stage. Now you're like, okay, cool, I'm here now. How am I going to be able to leave my legacy when, okay, so let's say Leon's touched the belt, he defended it twice. Now I've got to touch the belt, defend it 3 times in a more violent way. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be a barrier to overstep and just overcome. So again, with the dream chasing, there's always going to be a hurdle. Yes, there might not be as many of us, but mate, the hurdles are just high, bro. The hurdles are high, mate, and you got to be willing to understand the hurdle that you're coming to, see it, understand what it is, visualize it, and just make sure you can get over it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess in a fighting sense, it's kind of like, sure, it relating back to what I was saying, like, sure, not many people are doing it, but that means that the people are doing it
Sounds easy, bro.
are fucking killers, right?
Sounds
Because
easy, bro. It sounds easy, bro. But you know what I mean? Like there could be 5 of us. Like even in Renegade now, what we're all trying to do. So you got me, you got Emil Bryan, you got Aiden Lee, you got Jai Herbert still there. You've got Tom Breeze, Leon, Fabian. See, yo, bro, there's loads we're trying to do. There's loads we're trying to literally do things, and that's just a few names off the top of my head.
hmm,
You know what I mean? So we're all trying to achieve great things, but we're all on the same team. Next gen now, cool. You've got Paddy, obviously doing this thing. Now you got Shamrock, you got Luke Riley. You got so many guys just trying to make sure the name gets to where they want it to. They're trying to be the best fighter they can be, but you still got to compete with your own teammates. Not even in a hostile way, but just in a way of thinking, okay, how do I get what he's got? But he's already got it. So why are they then gonna want me when they've already got him? You know what I mean? So there's always a competition, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, oh, Jesus, laptop fell off there. Yeah, I guess like because, like I say, I'm not a fighter. I love training. I want to be a great coach one day, but I'm not a fighter. So, like, my dreams are very different. So, for example, I want to have this podcast. I want to make it a huge podcast. I want to. I've got a goal of getting to 10,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year, and I want to keep that growing. And I want to become big in that field. But so in that sense, I feel like the barrier to entry is like super, super low. And I feel like a lot of people aren't seeing the opportunity that they have right in front of them. And maybe it's not related to fighting, maybe it's related to fucking baking or whatever. But so many people are stopping themselves from starting doing something just because they're getting in their own head about it, or maybe they are just too lazy. I heard Dana White talking about how like the barrier to entry has never been lower. Like you can run these
Just
amazing.
horrendous, bro. Yeah, the barrier, the entry level is horrendous. You can get in no matter what. It's once you're in, then it's a different ball game. But the entry level is just embarrassing, bro. Anyone can do it. Entry level is open for anyone and everyone. But again, no one's willing to do it. Once you're then in, then it's like, okay, cool. Now we got to really work and do this, and this. Like you said, you want the 10K followers, you want your podcast to then be one of the biggest in the UK. Cool, you're in now. Entry level's here. Well, I'd say you probably more than entry level because you're probably interviewing different fighters. So now it's like, okay, you then got to compete with. Okay, I've got to compete with this person, that person, that person. Once I've done that, then in high in a sense, you then want to compete with the guys like the Joe Rogans, the Ariel Hawanis, those kind of guys. That's the kind of dream you want. But you're like, okay, how do I then one day get to their level from where I am now? So steps, bro. That's what it truly is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what a lot of people. To me, it just makes so much sense to if you want to do something. Yeah, sure, it might fucking suck, but like on the road. But at the end of the day, like, what did you expect? You know, like, do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
Nah, what's he do?
He's built these insane businesses over in America to do with
Yeah,
gyms. Like, he's made unbelievable amounts of money, basically like helping gyms get clients.
yeah.
And now he's sort of moving into doing more like general entrepreneurial type stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And he goes on a lot of podcasts. He's quite well known in like the motivational space.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and he was talking one time about like going to help out, going to do this talk for a company that was struggling. And he was like, "Well, when you started this, did you think it was going to be easy, or did you think it was going to be hard?" And they were like, "Well, we thought it was going to be hard." And he was like, "Well, this is what hard feels like,
Stand it.
you know." Like this is everything you thought it was going to be, but now it's here. You're now moaning and bitching about it.
Weak, but everyone's because everyone's just this day and age and this era that we're in is just full of weak people, bro. Everyone's soft, man. And I think it's just gonna get even worse, bro. But more people are gonna get softer and softer and it's getting their own head. And it's horrible. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take I don't know if there will ever be a greater time to try and achieve your dreams than now. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, for someone who is really trying to chase their dreams, you got aspirations, man, you just gotta jump off the sofa and do it, bro. It's that simple.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of it starts from like how you look at yourself as
Simple.
well.
Yeah.
You know, like if you look at yourself with like, oh, I'm not going to be able to achieve that. Well, congratulations, you're never going to
You
achieve
ain't
that.
doing it then, bro. You're not gonna do it. The moment you say that, oh yeah, just leave it, bro. Just go, just do what you wanna do your day-to-day things, and I say be happy. There you go. Just be content in life, bro. You know what I mean? The moment you say something like that to yourself, yeah, job's done, bro. Just leave it, man. Just leave it be.
Mm. Before the podcast started, you mentioned about how you work outside of fighting as well. Talk to me a little bit about that, and does that ever impact your training? Has it ever impacted your training? What hurdles have you had to overcome with working a job alongside fighting?
Well, bro, so I started working, 3 months ago at night shifts, and it only started recently. So when I was signed to Octagon, the money I was making there, I didn't need to work in it. I was all right. But then now that I signed to LFL, um, obviously it's a drastic pay cut in it, purely because obviously LFL is a very, very good feeder show to the UFC now. Obviously, there's multiple guys that go there. So obviously for me, that was just I've always had a good relationship with Donovan, the president of LFL. You know what I mean? He's me and him have always seen eye to eye. We've always had, you know what I mean, good plans of what to do, how to get to UFC. So obviously I went there, so left Octagon, signed with LFL, pay cut, and I thought, you know what, I need to just have income that's coming in now. So obviously with sponsors, endorsements and whatnot, I've still got them coming in, but I thought, you know, I need the extra bit. So I went night shifts. It doesn't impact my training in the sense I don't miss sessions because I still get to train my twice a day, my 3 times a day and whatnot. But best believe, bro, I am fucked in my training. So my first set, so let's say, so I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. My shift starts at 11 p.m., finishes at 6, innit? Um, Luckily, the managers and supervisors there, they're all combat fans, and so they are very supportive in that sense of you do they respect what I do, hence why they let me start at 11 p.m. so I don't miss training. So I literally train, finish my training, go home, eat, chill, fuck off to work. In the impact, first of all, bro, what I do, I work in a warehouse, and it's a company called Relay Tech. So it's like a courier company. They're trying to be like the next Amazon and so on and so forth. Bro, for 7 hours, we're lifting bags full of parcels that are weighing 30, 40 kg, bro. When I mean it's a 7 hour training session, bro. My physique now, I've always had a crazy physique. I've always been strong as shit. I am in peak condition, bro. I promise you now, what this job is doing to me, it's just got me in a mad peak condition. So I feel like the base for MMA is having a horrible grafting job. And it's just, yeah, so but other than that, it's hard. It is hard, bro, but it's just funny at the same time, man. You know what I mean? Finish work, go home. So I finish work at 6, go home for about half 6, quarter to 7, sleep for a couple hours. My training, my first session on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is at 1 o'clock in it. So I wake up at 12 or whatnot, or sometimes I'd even wake up, bro, like 20 minutes before. I need that extra half an hour, bro. So Tuesdays, Thursdays is my strength and conditioning. So you can imagine now I've done 7 hours of lifting, bro. Then I've got to do my S&C in the couple hours after that. Fucked, bro. Absolutely fucked. But then obviously after I had the first hour, my body's warm or whatnot, we crack on. But it just affects like the first session of the day. Other than that, it's not really affecting nothing else. And obviously when nighttime comes, my body's awake. So if someone said to me, "Oh, I want to train at 4 in the morning," yeah, cool, bro. My body's lively, bro. It's awake. So other than that, it's horrible, but it's so safe what it is, man. You know what I mean? It just creates a different level of hunger now to make it even more. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, I'm not in a position where, first of all, I don't come from a city that really looks at fighting and wants to support fighting like that. My city is a very, very strong, avid football city. You know what I mean? These are just football fans to the grave.
Hmm.
They're not really interested in combat sports like that. But obviously, when you're from like Manchester, Liverpool, they are just very heavy combat. They still love the football, don't get twisted, but they love combat as well. So they get them sponsors and whatnot. So they're lucky. Whereas obviously down there, it's very different. You know, so you have to still do what you gotta do, work and until you sign your big deals and you're in a different position. So hopefully by the end of this year, maybe that will be changed and I ain't gotta go there. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's all right, man. It's hard, but it's what it is. It's all fun and games, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny what you're saying about like it's like a 7 hour training session. It's
Bro, I promise you now, it is literally a 7 hour session. My back is killing me. My triceps and biceps, hench, bro. Everyone's like, right, biceps are big. Work, bro. Nothing else other than work. I'm bicep curling 40 kg bags for hours, bro. We have 2,800 bags a day that we're lifting
Damn.
for 40 kg, bro.
That's yeah. If you worked out the volume of that overall, that would be insane.
Bro, I've got the Islam strength now. I'm from Dagestan, bro. When I grab hold of you, I got vice grips now, bro. So when I grab hold of someone now, it's different. All from work, bro. You know what I mean? So grafting is a good base for MMA. It's an amazing base for MMA.
Yeah, I am talking a bit about like professional fighters' schedules. Then, like, I was trying to organize a podcast with someone who's just signed with the UFC. I won't say their name, but they sent me over their schedule to try and figure something out. And it's the first time I've like looked at a UFC fighter's schedule, and I was sat there like, what the fuck? They were
Oh,
just,
that's stupid.
it was insane. It was
It makes
ridiculous.
sense though. If you're trying, if you like most fighter schedules, yeah, they're all probably gonna be the same. It's gonna be we train morning through to the afternoon, have a rest, train again in the evening. If no one schedules like that, I don't know what they're playing at. What they're doing.
Mm.
If it's doing more than that, then you're just taking the piss, bro. I don't know what we're playing out here. Everyone's got somewhat of the similar schedule, twice a day or 3 times a day, depending on whatnot, and that's it. If you got more than that, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know what. That's when overtraining comes into and everyone's just fucked. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So twice a day, everyone obviously does their 2 hour, 2.5 hour sessions, then rest, then again like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? I don't know, but if anyone's doing more than that, well, welcome to overtraining, man. You're gonna burn out.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like it wasn't just the so for example, like if you see a beginner to MMA and they walk in the gym with the Conor McGregor strut and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be the next UFC champion," but then they train 3 times a week for three like
Embarrassing,
for an
really.
hour, you know?
Yeah, that's embarrassing, bro. For an hour, maybe we're doing 2.5 hours, 3 hours of the first session, bro. You know what I mean? Then we've got to train again, and then 9 out of 10, everyone's doing the extra. So for me, I'm always swimming, so I like swim like every night. So then you do your extras are outside of your normal base training anyway. You know what I mean? So we'll do like 5 hours, 6 hours a day, man. If you're doing 3 hours a week, yeah, leave it, man. Just chill out, bro. Just
Yeah.
let it be, man.
Well, that was the thing where it was like obviously MMA training sessions themselves was on the schedule, but then when I was looking at it, trying to work out when I could fit a podcast in with them, it was like, oh yeah, I've got an hour here, but it is literally just an hour because then I've got a physiotherapy session, I've got my S&C, a few other different things on there. And I was like, it really is it really is like your body is your vehicle for your job in this sport, right?
It is, bro. So you just gotta find ways of just make sure you get your rest in, your training in, everything, bro. Every day to day life, everything else around it. You know what I mean? That's why even now, me and you today, I said, yo, we gotta do it now. Just fuck it, just slap it in now. I said, what time you got? Cool, let's do it quickly. You know what I mean? You just gotta get it in, bro. And
Yeah.
then job done, and then you go into it again. So it's just yeah, it's mad, bro. I don't know how, I don't know why it's like that. I don't know who we are to even be like that, but there's always time, man. There's always time to fit interviews and podcasting. At the end of the day, you can't be a fighter or an athlete and not expect these things to happen. So you've always got to make sure, okay, in your schedule, there's always time because in order to build your brand, you got to do podcast interviews. Um, the more fighters understand that, I'll be laughing, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to move into that anyways, talking a little bit about, for example, quite famously, Sean O'Malley would always talk about this with the UFC about their pay, and he would talk about how, okay, cool, maybe their fighter pay isn't absolutely insane. It's a lot better than the lower level shows for sure, but maybe it's not the same sort of pay that you would expect in like NFL and that sort of stuff, you know? But what they offer you is a platform, and if you don't use that platform, that's on you, you
I
know?
don't know about the fight pitch. If you're getting paid 300K a fight, mate, I don't know what you're financially free, but if someone get me 300K right now, you best believe I'm never going broke again.
Mm.
300K, you best believe my investments are going in. So if you're getting 300 grand, you bro, you've networked so wrong, bro. You have not got the right connections or network around you. If you give like an entrepreneur 300 grand, you best believe they're turning that 300 grand into 300 mil.
Yeah.
God knows how, because they've just got the mindset for it. So I'm sick of athletes who's moaning about fire pay, this and that. Well, clearly you're spending it on fucking bullshit, then, bro. You know what I mean? And again, like you just said, the platform, UFC is a platform. Yes, you're not getting the 30 minute fight like the McGregor and whatnot, because they're never going to give in on that again. Respectfully, it's only like McGregor and Habib that'll get like the 20 mil, 30 mil. They're never going to make anyone get that kind of money again. They're like, yeah, you know what? That happened once, but I'm doing it again. Everyone's on whatever. You might get 1.52 mil. You ain't getting no more than that. That's fine.
Mm.
Cool. Even off that, you're financially free if you don't know, if you understand what you're doing. So, but understand the platform that you're on. Like, bro, there's guys on UFC that you won't even know, bro.
Mhm.
How's my name bigger than 95% of the roster on UFC, bro? You're on UFC. I'm fighting for fucking LFL.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for the Netherlands' biggest promotion, and yet I've got people that know me in America more than there's more than guys in UFC. What are you doing, bro? Like, with all due respect, how have you been given this opportunity? Are you not using it? And there's guys like us, like myself, that are just still working to even get the opportunity. It's bang out of order, bro. If you don't know how to use a platform, go home, bro. Just leave it alone. I'm just leave, man. I'm not interested.
Yeah, but I mean, a good example of that is like I've messaged a lot of UFC fighters on Instagram who have got way less followers than you've got. I messaged you and you replied straight away.
Bro, because they're trying to go on like there's something and not. It's boring, bro. Just stay in your lane. If you're nobody, you're nobody. No one people just put the UFC fighter in the bio. That's all it is. I don't give a fuck, bro. You're nobody. Like, reply,
Yeah.
have manners, bro. You know, you're not fucking Conor McGregor or Habib to be like, yeah, you know what, I can't reply to you, this and that. Every opportunity, you take it, man. You know what I mean? Unless it's something stupid, like someone's trying to wax your chest or whatever, then don't do that, bro. But if it's an interview or podcast, the same way someone's giving them an opportunity, give this person an opportunity, bro. And it's just, it's good karma, man. It is
Yeah.
just good karma. So I hate when people think because, yeah, I'm in the UFC or I'm in the PFL or whatnot, yeah, I'm too nice for this person now. Bro, if he's interviewing you, give this guy an opportunity because he's trying to then achieve his dreams and aspirations. It's not just some randomer saying, yo, just sign my chest hair, bro. You know what I mean? They're asking for something to say, yo, okay, you know what? Let me really, I want to get into this. Cool. Let me try to use you as my gateway in. Happily, bro. Do you think everyone just thinks they're better than what they are nowadays? And it's boring, bro. I'm bored of it. Social media is giving people this mad ego, and in hindsight, they're actually fuck all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
With all
like
due respect.
that is it's really true. Like in the sense of, as I've mentioned, I've been around to a few different gyms, and in going to a few different places, I've met some really, really big names, and some of them have been great, and then there's some of them also who haven't been so great.
Also, bro.
And yeah, it's like a, I want to word it correctly without coming off like a dickhead.
They're dickheads, bro. You can't. At the end of the day, you're a dickhead. You're a bitch, bro. Shut your mouth and stay in your lane. I don't give a fuck whether you got 10K followers or 100K. Shut your fucking mouth. I'm not asked.
Hmm.
I don't care. I'm bored of it. Everyone's just full of shit. This number on Instagram is just giving people something to think, yeah, I'm that person. Shut Instagram down today and I guarantee no one remembers you, bro. Just turn the internet off today and I guarantee 95% of the people aren't going to remember. Just
Uh,
be humble, bro. If someone is willing to talk to you and want to know your story, bro, give them the opportunity to know your story. You
yeah,
know how many people are on this planet that you will never know the story, and you're there wanting to know their story or give them a platform to tell your story. Come on, bro, just bang out word, man. So people like that, fuck them. Waste time, bro. Just fuck off. I don't care.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast with the question that I started it with is like, what's a part of your story that people don't know?
Exactly.
It's because my whole goal with this is
Just
to,
telling the story, bro.
yeah, and
You're
that, and
writing
that's
a book, bro.
and not only does that help my show and my brand, but it also helps you in return as well, right?
But people don't understand that. People don't understand that. Again, it goes to hard work and how much are you willing to lock in. Yes, the physical side of things, but you've also got to build your brand, bro.
Mm.
You can't then cry about fighter pay when you're not willing to build your brand. Gone are the days where fighting and skill set alone made just pay the bills, bro. Yes, it does as well as that the skill set is gonna get you your 100K, your 300K, your 800K, or your million. Well then, okay, if you want to see 10, 20, that's when you gotta go outside. Even football still have to build their brand, mate. Yes, you're gonna get your 70 grand a week or whatnot. Minus you're gonna get taxed stupidly on that anyway. But then you gotta make sure you're building your brand outside, bro. Because God forbid you get a put on loan or you getting dropped from that team, mate. That pay's getting caught
Yeah.
in half, mate. So then, okay, cool. How can I then make sure I get the same amount of pay? Cool, your brand's built. You've done this now, you've invested this and that. So just go back to building your brand, man. Skill set is not enough now. Just build your brand, network with people, talk to people, bro. Just tell your story. You know what I mean? Just be inspiring, just motivate people. You saying to someone, oh yeah, I ain't got time for you. Yeah, fuck off then, bro. I'm not interested in your story. And no one else will be either.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I assume you know who Harry and George Hardwick are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am one of the reasons I've got so much respect for those two guys is, for example, if you look at Harry, I've had both of them on my podcast. And on the podcast I did with Harry, it was before he got signed to the UFC, but after his most recent fight prior to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was campaigning to get to the UFC at that point. And I had the same conversation about a similar conversation about fighter pay, and he said the exact same thing of if I got like took me talking as Harry now, he was like, if I got 13 grand to show and 13 grand to win, 26 grand would change my life, you know?
Facts.
And then
Bro, people get
obviously,
paid that in a year. Thinking, what the fuck? You got that in 50 minutes or less. Shut the fuck up, bro. And then you probably got two more fights in the year.
yeah,
Cool. If you want more money, perform, bro. Unfortunately, that's how it is. We have to perform. Even
yeah,
boxers have to perform. They don't get 50 mil straight away, bro. You have to perform, bro. Everyone's always looking at the end product of, I want what McGregor's got. Big man, McGregor was broke as fuck, bro.
hmm
And he worked as well. So then he's had to go through that to then be who he is. Yes, mind you, he's an absolute lunatic now, but obviously the McGregor that we know, he worked his ass off, bro. So
mm.
you gotta be willing to again suffer, bro, and just put the time and effort in. Simple as that. And when you do get the money, be smart with it. Don't go smashing it on alcohol and cigars and just drawing the eye and just having it in a picture where you're holding stacks of money, bro. You're a kid. Go put it into something, bro.
Yeah,
Build that. You know what I mean? Build that disposable income and that can just be there and build something with it. So yeah, that's one of them things.
yeah. And like if you look at what happened with Harry after that moment, he gets signed, and obviously the fight goes the way it goes, but he's made so much content from that one fight that he's had in the UFC. And every single day, him and his brother are posting so much content. They're giving out value, they're telling their story. And I don't see enough fighters doing that.
Nah, but we'll build our brand, man. Like for me, my thing has always been sparring videos. I don't know why people love seeing my sparring videos. They love it. So for me, you just gotta find your niche and just go with it. Yes, obviously, you still gotta make sure you put different things out there as well as, but you can never forget your niche, bro. It's weird. I don't know what it is. Every fighter's got something that everyone's gonna be like, right, who's this? For me, it's sparring. For those two, it's breakdowns of fights. People love their breakdowns, and then yeah, man, it's just gonna be. You've just got to find your niche as an athlete. Everyone's got one.
Yeah, and again, that moves nicely into what I was wanting to talk to you about as well is your sparring videos. Like I've taken a lot of value just from seeing some of the clips from your sparring videos, and it's
Right.
started to change the way that I spar now,
Yeah.
just from watching a little bit of what you do. And I want to talk to you a little bit about like pressure fighting, because I know that's something that you're very sort of fond of. Why does pressure fighting call to you so much?
My feet are flat as a pancake, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, my feet are flat as shit. I ain't got no arches in my feet. Obviously, I'm trying to get them now. 'Cause I got insoles on my feet, but yeah, my feet are flat, bro. So again, being a Thai boxer, if you know the Thai, we just stand there and just hit, bro. It's not
Mm.
a it's not like boxing where it's a sweet science of hit and not get hit. You know what I mean? Of hitting and not get hit. So when you come from Thai boxing, where you're just used to standing there, ego fighting, then you go into kickboxing, which is even more of a pressure game, where you get scored purely on going forward, not even, you know what I mean? So then when you go into MMA, you're then gonna carry that into MMA, but you gotta change it slightly. You got 4 rounds gloves on, so yes, I'm still gonna pressure the fuck out you no matter what. But now I've got to evolve. You know what I mean? So now the fight I am now that I've changed, that I've turned into in the past few months since I've changed teams. Oh, bro, people ain't ready for the new improved version of Ammari. I tell you that. So yeah, pressure is always gonna be my thing. It's always been my thing. People love it. People like it. It's fan friendly. It's exciting. I'm here to entertain. You know what I mean? I'm here to entertain in a beautiful way and just be as violent as I could physically be. You know what I mean? Within the realm of creating beautiful, stylistic violence, bro. You know what I mean? So pressure is always gonna be my thing. Yes, we're still gonna add footwork and movement in there, but it's still gonna be heavily pressure based. Simple as.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I've got one more question. So we've been going for a while now, and I've unfortunately got stuff I've got to do as well. What does being a fighter mean to you?
Gives me purpose, bro. It's my purpose, and it's just a way for me to carry my name, change my life, change my family's life, and just do great things, bro. You know what I mean? I wasn't here. My mom didn't carry me for 9 months, give birth to me, and just have me here just to vanish into thin air and just become one with society and just blend in. Nah, nah, nah. You best believe I'm here to just do more and just achieve great things and just be the best version of myself that I can physically and mentally be. You know what I mean? Yes, it's gonna be hard, but that's what it's about. I'm just here to just be the best that I can be. You know what I mean? In life, in my sport, and that's it. It just gives me a purpose, bro.
Do you feel like you felt like that before you started martial arts, or do you feel like starting martial arts, or that is like a byproduct of you starting martial arts?
100% it is 100%. Because like I said, remember I started when I was a kid, so luckily I'm grateful to of being a small number of few that understood their purpose in life from a very young age. You know what I mean? Where some people still don't know what they want to do when they're 25, 30. I
Hmm.
knew I wanted to do when I was 11 years old, bro. So for me, I'm very lucky and grateful to understand who I am, who I want to be, and where I want to go in life. You know what I mean? And I find out from being a child, bro.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So I think a lot of people, the reason why a lot of people are depressed is because they don't know what they want to do.
I don't
So
know the purpose in life, bro. So for me, like I said, I'm grateful to be one of the very, very fortunate few to have literally found that, man, find my corner from a young age, you know. So, and from a negative moment that I turned into a positive. So, I'm grateful. I'm just gonna just grab it with both hands, bro. Just do the best I can.
hmm, awesome. Is there anything you want to shout out or mention whilst you're on the podcast?
You know, listen. Above all else, just everyone that watches this podcast, just if you have dreams, aspirations, goals, please just be ready to suffer. Be ready to just deal with it, and just go and get it, man. It's not gonna be easy. It's going to be a rough path, a treacherous one, like I keep saying, but it is worth it, man. So, anyone like that is going to watch this podcast, please tune in, just enjoy it, and just please, if you have dreams, just get off the sofa and go chase them and enjoy them.
Awesome. And I can back up that message as well, for sure.
Facts, bro. Facts, simple.